On July 11, 2025, a date not so far off in the future, the world is still reckoning with the Gaza conflict's aftermath. The physical scars remain etched upon the landscape, and the emotional wounds run even deeper. The question of whether Israel has won or lost is not just academic. It's not a mere intellectual exercise confined to university halls and policy think tanks. It has real consequences for millions. The lives of ordinary people, displaced families, and entire communities hang in the balance. The answer shapes the future of both Israeli and Palestinian societies, determining the path towards coexistence or further division, and influences decisions in Washington, where policymakers grapple with complex geopolitical considerations. Tehran, which closely monitors regional dynamics and seeks to expand its influence, and Brussels, where European leaders navigate the delicate balance between humanitarian concerns and strategic interests. It determines humanitarian aid, dictating the flow of essential resources to those in desperate need, rebuilding efforts, shaping the scope and pace of reconstruction in war-torn areas, and the prospects for peace. It either paves the way for meaningful dialogue or entrenches existing divisions, pushing peace further out of reach. For Israelis, the outcome is tied to national security and resilience, impacting their sense of safety and their ability to thrive in a volatile region. The government aimed to dismantle Hamas to neutralize its military capabilities and remove its threat to Israeli citizens, and secure the return of hostages, bringing home those held captive and providing closure to their anguished families, goals still hotly debated within Israeli society and its political institutions. For Palestinians who have endured immense suffering and loss, survival and the future of their homeland are at stake. Their very existence as a people hangs in the balance. Endurance itself is a form of victory. Simply holding on, maintaining hope, and rebuilding lives amidst devastation becomes an act of defiance. The conflict's outcome ripples across the region, impacting neighboring countries and shaping alliances, affecting stability and power balances. It could trigger further conflicts or create opportunities for cooperation. Neighboring countries and global powers, from the United States to Russia and China, are recalibrating their strategies in response, reassessing their relationships and adjusting their foreign policies. The war's result will embolden or deter regional actors, influencing their behavior and shaping their ambitions, shaping diplomacy and security for years, setting the stage for future negotiations and potential conflicts. Asking, "Has Israel lost?" is not about assigning blame or celebrating victory. It is about understanding the limits of military power, recognizing that military might alone cannot solve complex political problems, and the costs of prolonged conflict, acknowledging the devastating human and economic toll of war. We must look beyond official statements, beyond the carefully crafted narratives and political spin, to the real evidence on the ground, to the lived experiences of those most affected by the conflict. Only by examining these signs, by carefully analyzing the facts and considering multiple perspectives, can we understand what the future holds for this troubled land. Can we pave the way for a more just and peaceful future? In the complex landscape of modern conflict, discerning the truth can be a daunting task. Field indicators are the real-world signs, the tangible pieces of evidence that reveal the true state of a conflict, offering a ground-level perspective often obscured by rhetoric and misinformation. These indicators act as a compass, guiding us through the fog of war. They cut through propaganda, the carefully constructed narratives designed to sway public opinion and conceal the realities on the ground. They are objective, verifiable, offering tangible facts for analysts and journalists striving to provide an unbiased account of events. These indicators fall into four main categories, each providing a unique lens through which to examine the multifaceted nature of conflict. Military, focusing on the tangible aspects of combat and strategic positioning. Political, examining the stability of governments and the pursuit of strategic objectives. Social, highlighting the devastating impact of war on civilian populations and community structures. And international, monitoring the diplomatic landscape and the global response to the crisis. Military indicators measure battlefield success, the ebb and flow of combat operations, providing insights into the strategic advantages and disadvantages of each side. Territorial control, the physical areas under the control of different factions, revealing the shifting dynamics of power. Enemy losses, the toll of war on combatant forces, offering a grim reminder of the human cost of conflict. And operational capacity, assessing the ability of military forces to sustain operations and achieve their objectives. Political indicators assess government stability, the resilience of political institutions in the face of conflict, and the achievement of political goals, measuring the progress towards long-term strategic aims. Social indicators reveal the war's impact on civilians, the displacement, suffering, and loss endured by ordinary people caught in the crossfire. Public morale, the collective spirit of a population under duress, reflecting their hopes and fears for the future. Resilience, the ability of communities to withstand adversity and rebuild their lives in the aftermath of conflict. And humanitarian conditions, the availability of essential resources and the well-being of displaced populations. International indicators track the complex web of diplomatic support, the alliances and partnerships that shape the international response to the conflict. Sanctions, the economic pressures applied by the international community to influence the behavior of warring parties, and global opinion, the perceptions and attitudes of the international community towards the conflict. In modern conflicts like Gaza, where the lines between combatants and civilians are often blurred, victory is complex, a multifaceted concept that extends far beyond traditional military metrics. It's not just about territory or casualties, it's about the broader consequences of the conflict. Winning the narrative, shaping the perception of events in the eyes of the world, and maintaining legitimacy are just as crucial as any military objective. By examining all these indicators across the military, political, social, and international spectrums, we get a nuanced, accurate picture, a comprehensive understanding of the conflict's true nature, of the war's outcome, its long-term effects on the region and the world. This approach prevents simplistic conclusions, moving beyond superficial assessments to uncover the underlying complexities. About winning or losing, recognizing that the true consequences of war are often far more ambiguous. The real story is found not in the headlines, in these diverse, interconnected signs, revealing the intricate tapestry of conflict and its enduring impact. Militarily, Israel's IDF has shown overwhelming power, dismantling much of Hamas's infrastructure. High-ranking commanders have been killed, and Hamas's conventional capabilities are severely degraded. Yet, Hamas and other groups continue guerrilla attacks, showing their core structure survives. The goal of total eradication remains elusive. Israeli forces can operate anywhere in Gaza, but permanent control is elusive. Cleared areas are quickly re-infiltrated. Without a political plan for governance, military gains are temporary. Hostage recovery, a central war aim, remains incomplete. Many are still captive or unaccounted for. The inability to secure all hostages is a significant strategic failure. Tactical successes are mixed with strategic frustrations. The battlefield reality is one of dominance without decisive victory. Military actions are inseparable from their wider political and social consequences. Politically, Israel's campaign aimed to eliminate Hamas's rule in Gaza, but failed to provide a viable alternative. The resulting power vacuum has led to chaos and the risk of Hamas re-emerging. Domestically, the war has deepened divisions. Netanyahu's government faces protests and eroding public trust. For Hamas, governance is shattered, but its survival boosts its symbolic status and regional influence. Internationally, Israel faces condemnation, legal challenges, and growing diplomatic isolation. Several countries now recognize a Palestinian state, further weakening Israel's position. The absence of a day-after plan is a critical political failure. The political cost is high, complicating any claim of victory. Governance remains unstable, with no clear path forward. Socially, both societies are deeply scarred. In Israel, unity has fractured, replaced by insecurity, trauma, and economic strain. The war's cost has sparked debate over the social contract and fueled unrest. In Gaza, the humanitarian catastrophe is overwhelming. Displacement, destruction, and loss are widespread. The devastation breeds anger and a desire for retribution, fueling future conflict. Yet Palestinian resilience, sumud, remains strong, complicating Israeli objectives. Enduring such suffering without surrender is seen as a form of victory. The social fabric on both sides is forever altered. Internationally, Israel's support has eroded, even among key allies. The US has criticized Israel's conduct and paused arms shipments. Global condemnation is widespread. Legal actions at the ICJ and ICC have damaged Israel's reputation, branding it a pariah in many eyes. The war has unified Israel's adversaries. Hezbollah, the Houthis and others have escalated their actions. Pro-Palestinian sentiment dominates global public opinion, pressuring Western governments. Massive protests and campus activism have shifted the narrative. Israel's isolation is deepening, with long-term consequences for its alliances. The loss in the court of public opinion may be the most damaging outcome. Experts disagree on the war's outcome, reflecting its complexity. Some military analysts see Hamas's degradation as a victory and a restoration of deterrence. Others argue Israel faces strategic defeat, political goals unmet, global opposition rising, and a new generation of radicalized Palestinians. A third view sees both sides winning and losing. Israel achieves short-term military gains but deepens the conflict. Hamas loses governance but wins symbolically. Humanitarian experts focus on the catastrophic moral and legal failures, arguing there are no true winners. The war is seen as an endless cycle, draining resources and legitimacy. The lack of a political vision traps both sides in perpetual conflict. Ultimately, the war's legacy is one of profound loss for all involved. History offers sobering parallels: Iraq, Afghanistan, Algeria, and Lebanon. Superior militaries won battles but failed to secure lasting political change, leading to prolonged insurgencies and eventual withdrawals. France's tactical success in Algeria ended in political defeat and independence for the weaker side. Israel's 1982 Lebanon war expelled the PLO but created Hezbollah and a costly occupation. Many fear Gaza could become a new Lebanon, an endless quagmire. Some argue Hamas poses an existential threat, justifying the high cost and rejecting historical comparisons. They frame the conflict as a war for survival, not a counterinsurgency. Others warn that without a political solution, military victories are hollow. The lessons military force alone cannot resolve deep-rooted conflicts. Ignoring history risks repeating its mistakes. In the end, the field indicators paint a stark and unsettling picture. They reveal a fractured outcome, a landscape of broken promises and shattered hopes. The dust settles, but the underlying issues remain unresolved, a testament to the complexities of the conflict. There's no clear win or loss for Israel. The situation is far more nuanced, a gray area where both sides have suffered significant setbacks and achieved limited gains. The long-term implications are uncertain, casting a shadow over the region's future. Tactical successes, while present, are ultimately overshadowed by strategic failures. Short-term victories on the ground do little to address the deeper systemic problems that fuel the conflict. The cycle of violence continues, unabated, and there is persistent insurgency. The embers of resistance continue to burn, fueled by a sense of injustice and a desire for self-determination. This ongoing unrest poses a constant challenge to any attempts at lasting peace. Politically, Israel faces deep polarization, a society divided on fundamental issues related to the conflict and its resolution. This internal division weakens the nation's ability to forge a unified path forward. Diplomatic isolation is growing and there is no viable plan for Gaza. The international community increasingly views Israel's actions with skepticism, and the lack of a clear strategy for the future of Gaza only exacerbates the problem. Socially, both societies are deeply traumatized. The scars of conflict run deep, affecting generations to come. The psychological toll of violence and displacement is immense, creating a cycle of pain and suffering. Gaza's resilience, while admirable, fuels the conflict's narrative. The determination to rebuild and resist becomes a symbol of defiance, perpetuating the cycle of violence and hindering any prospects for reconciliation. Internationally, Israel is more isolated than ever, facing growing criticism and condemnation for its policies and actions. This isolation further complicates efforts to find a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Facing legal and diplomatic rebukes from international bodies and individual nations alike, these challenges underscore the urgent need for a change in approach and a renewed commitment to international law. Modern wars are not won by firepower alone. The application of brute force is insufficient to address the underlying causes of conflict and achieve lasting peace. They are decided in political arenas where diplomacy, negotiation, and compromise are essential tools for resolving disputes and building bridges. Social movements and the will of civilian populations play a crucial role in shaping the course of events and demanding accountability from their leaders. And global arenas where international cooperation and collective action are necessary to address complex challenges and promote a more just and peaceful world. Ignoring these signs leads to endless conflict and suffering, perpetuating a cycle of violence and despair that will only continue to claim innocent lives. For policymakers, these indicators are a reality check, a stark reminder that the current approach is not working and that a new path must be forged. Military strategy must align with achievable goals, and it must be informed by a clear understanding of the political, social, and economic realities on the ground. For the public, they demand accountability from their leaders and a commitment to finding a peaceful and just resolution to the conflict, and a realistic path forward, one that addresses the underlying causes of the conflict and offers hope for a better future for all. Without a political solution, violence will only continue, perpetuating a cycle of destruction and despair that will claim more innocent lives and further destabilize the region. The enduring signs from Gaza warn security cannot come at the expense of another people's humanity and rights. Lasting peace requires a commitment to justice, equality, and mutual respect.